David, thanks. The fight over political boundaries in Wisconsin expected to intensify as we head into the upcoming 2030 census.
And that's why there's an effort right now to raise awareness with calls for an independent redistricting commission, which would give neither political party a clear advantage in elections. New at 6 tonight, Chief Political Reporter Jason Zimmerman explaining what this is all about. He joins us live in our Fox Valley newsroom. Jason.
Chris, a rally will take place a week from tonight in Appleton, led by the Wisconsin Fair Maps Coalition. This is a group made up of dozens of organizations and thousands of volunteers, including the League of Women Voters. Previously, Governor Tony Evers signed into law new state legislative maps that voters saw for the first time in 2024, impacting the entire Assembly and half the Senate because state senators have four-year terms. The other half of the Senate under the new maps will be up for election this November. However, there's also concern over the state's congressional maps, which include 8 seats, with Republicans holding 6 and Democrats 2. That's in a state that is considered purple. The goal of the event coming up is to educate the public on why an independent redistricting commission is needed and to lobby state lawmakers to fully support it. Eventually, the group intends to seek a constitutional amendment so it has a permanent place in Wisconsin law.
I think people are frustrated. I think the legislative people are frustrated because they can't seem to get anything done. So they figure if they draw themselves a bigger majority, they'll be able to make things happen. But it doesn't work like that. Government's not meant to go fast. It's not meant to ignore both sides. It's meant for people to work together.
The rally in Appleton next week is one of several taking place all across the state on June 4th. It is scheduled for 5:30 at Houdini Plaza. Cammie, back to you.